So this video is specifically dedicated to all the Canelo fans, calling out every single Canelo fan. Pay close attention to this video because a lot of you guys were in my comments and saying a whole lot of stuff in my last Canelo video. So I'm going to explain everything because we have a lot to get over, a lot to go through. I have 3 videos I'm going to be watching, so I'm going to make this as quick and efficient as possible. We're going to start with this David Benavidez video.
What they were offering Canelo, they were offering him close to 60 million. I think that's even before pay-per-view buys. After pay-per-view buys, it would have been a fucking killing. I wasn't getting nothing, no percentage. I was getting a fee of $5 million. I pay out all my people. I think I'm left over with 3.5 before taxes. You know what I mean? So I was fine with that. I was completely fine with that. This guy was taking everything. He was literally taking everything. I'm not saying that he shouldn't. I mean, if he's entitled to, he's entitled. I don't give a fuck. I wanted the opportunity. It doesn't have anything to do with promotions, pain, or none of that. Canelo don't want to fight. Like, it's crazy how you guys can't see that. Some of the fans can't see that. He don't want to fight. Bro, every time Canelo says no, all his fanboys come up with the fucking million excuses for him. What lack of money in there, they fucking offered him. They offered him to fight. Bro, if Canelo wanted to fight me, and he knows that's the most lucrative fight to be made right now, if he really wanted to make all that fucking money, the fight would have been made. That's what I'm saying. There's excuse after excuse after excuse. Bro, he doesn't want to fight.
I don't fucking care. I represent Mexico.
Okay, so that's the part with David Benavidez, and David Benavidez was pretty much going over the split, and Canelo was going to take everything. And David Benavidez was willing to do that. Now, my question, because a lot of people, when David Benavidez even said, like, there's excuses that people are making, excuses. Oh, David Benavidez is not even supposed to be fighting at 168 because he's too tall, too big. It's like, it just sounds like y'all scared or something, right? But I want to preface this before we move on to the next video, is that the last video, all of you guys had clearly not been listening to the fact that I said, do I think Canelo will be ducking Benavidez? As in the future? No, because I think he's going to fight him. Do I think he has been? Yeah, I'm going to be honest. He's been weaving because the offer was clearly given and it was clearly rejected. It was clearly in the talks if David Benavidez is saying all this stuff. And it was rejected. But I made a point in that last video that I do still think Canelo will fight David Benavidez. I do think so. But Andre Ward had a lot to say about it, and so we're going to watch that video next. It's going to be kind of blurry because I'm not trying to get, copyrighted from Breakfast Club, et cetera, but Andre Ward had a lot to say about it, so let's see.
He's an all-time great, but then there's certain fights we wanted to see, like maybe you and Canelo, or even now they say him and Benavidez, and I'm like, well, if he doesn't fight Benavidez, do you really put that as a strike against him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Canelo fans, they call me a hater because I'm telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Like, me and this guy, Canelo, we never looked each other's way, different weight class, and we shouldn't have. Like, he did, and people say Canelo ducked me, he didn't duck me. The only reason why we brought up in the same category is because we had a common opponent, Sergey Kovalev, when I retired, so people start connecting the dots. Now you fought him, fight Dre now, call Dre out. So I'll never say Canelo ducked me because he didn't. It wasn't even on his radar, wasn't on my radar. But in terms of his resume, it's a little website called boxrec.com. Mm-hmm. And if you know what you're looking at, you can look at the opponents that he fought, right? And people say, he fought this name and fought that name. Where did he fight that name when he fought him? He 32. He coming off 2 losses. He 35. Kovalev, when he fought Kovalev was cooked. He wasn't the crusher. He wasn't the undefeated guy. He had lost that. And I'm not knocking the hustle. Mm-hmm. But you lose me when you start saying I'm the best fighter in the world. Or you lose me when you feel like you don't have to fight the best, but then everybody else got to fight the best. Canelo is a really good fighter, man. But you don't really know how good you are until you fight the other best. Now,
and this is the point that I'm trying to make to you guys is it's at the point where everybody is saying the same thing. Canelo has to fight David Benavidez. Now, I know a lot of Canelo fans want to say, oh, his resume is good. He doesn't need to fight David Benavidez, et cetera, et cetera. You guys should be thinking he's going to win. You guys should be the ones pushing this fight. Now, do I think his career is tainted? his, I know like he said, he's a good fighter, and he's gonna go down as one of the greats, one of the great Mexican boxers. But right now the walls are caving in, and it seems as if Canelo is doing everything but fighting David Benavidez. He's previously stated, which I want you guys to genuinely let me know in the comments. He previously stated that he wasn't going to fight a Mexican boxer. Now he's fighting, I believe the guy's name is Matias. Excuse me if I got that wrong, but he's fighting another Mexican fighter on May 4th. Like, Mexican Day. I forgot the day name because I'm moving kind of fast. But this is the perfect time to make the David Benavidez fight. And the thing is the longer he waits, the worse it gets for him, because the better David Benavidez gets and the older he gets. So he's kind of in a standstill. It's like, man, I think this is going to be something that people are going to hold over his head. And I hope he actually fights David Benavidez. And I do think he will, because this is just too big of momentum that everybody's pushing towards Canelo to take the fight. But the third video that I want to look at is this guy actually has a rebuttal towards everything that Andre Ward just said. And this is for the Canelo fans who I already know you guys are going to have 1,000 things to say. So this is kind of him speaking for you guys, and I'll be speaking at the end of that. So, yeah.
Alvarez yet again. Now, there's two key things he says in this interview. One is that Canelo Alvarez is constantly ducking multiple fighters, but he can't name the fighters in which Canelo's ducking. The second thing...
for that specific point, later on in the interview, because I listened to the whole interview, he did say he's not a messy guy and he's not going to name names. So I will say that, but at the same time, I can understand why a person would look being like, oh, if you're saying he's ducking people, say the names. But he did say in that interview, he's not the type. I believe it was before he even got into Canelo or way after he got into Canelo, like towards the end of the podcast, the interview. So that is kind of irrelevant.
Thing he states is that Canelo Alvarez dismisses fighters over a payday, and the third is that Canelo Alvarez did not want to rematch Dimitri Bivol. So let's body bag this dumbass. When you look at Andre Ward, the reason why he couldn't flat out say who Canelo Alvarez is ducking is because Canelo Alvarez is undisputed. How can you be ducking someone, dumbass, when you hold all the world titles? How is that possible? It's not possible to duck someone when you've beaten every single champion, dumbass. The next thing is, Andre Ward says, well, Canelo Alvarez dismisses guys talking about they want a payday. The only person he dismissed off of a payday was Demetrius Andre. And
for the other point that he made about, Canelo being undisputed, that's why he's not ducking anyone. I think that's kind of irrelevant simply because that would actually make him look even worse, because now he has the option to choose an opponent he wants to fight. He has the option, and he's still not choosing a person that everyone deems you'll lose to, or most people deem you'll lose to, who's not like a Canelo, like, obsessive guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I would have to say to that point. But let's move on.
At the time he dismissed Demetrius Andre, Canelo Alvarez was busy trying to go undisputed at 168 pounds. At that time in 2021, Demetrius Andre was still fighting at 160 pounds. So if Canelo's at 168 and Andrade's at 160 and still hadn't fought one world champion, how's he ducking Andrade? This man clearly only wanted a payday. What are we talking about? You gotta be a dumbass to listen to Andre Ward. He really didn't want the rematch. But if you listen to Andre Ward on A State of Boxing on ESPN last year, Andre Ward said Canelo Alvarez is trying to drain Dimitri Bivol by bringing him down to 168 pounds. And this was obviously debunked because Canelo was insisting the rematch be at 175, but Bivol refused and said, I will not fight you if it's not at 168, even though Bivol said, I don't know if I can make 168. Make that make sense. It's clear who does not want the rematch, and it was not Canelo Alvarez. I mean, we got to make it make sense. Everything Andre Ward says is a damn lie. Then go on to Andre Ward talking about Canelo ducking, talking about Canelo Alvarez not fighting the best fighters. But what's so funny is Canelo Alvarez fought a prime undefeated world champion in Caleb Plant. In a Caleb Plant that Andre Ward said that he would be a huge problem for Canelo Alvarez, who Andre Ward picked to beat Canelo Alvarez, who Andre Ward trained to beat Canelo Alvarez, and yet he still got knocked out.
I'm going to be completely honest with this point. This is not to me, this is a good point, like, because he's bringing up Andre Ward, and Andre Ward did go for Caleb Plant and was, helping him out in the training room. But At the same time, I honestly think Caleb Plant was beating Canelo up until the stoppage. I'm gonna be completely honest. Go watch that fight. Caleb Plant was using the Philly show nice, and I think overall he was beating Canelo. Up until the round that he got knocked down into the round before that, he was winning. But to each his own.
So at the end of the day, Andre Ward is clearly in his feelings, hating on Canelo Alvarez. And the last thing Andre Ward stated was that Canelo Alvarez, when he fought Triple G, it was a controversial fight. Those were controversial fights. Those were close fights. But how are you throwing stones and you live in a glass house? Because your fight against Sergey Kovalev was controversial. Literally everybody saw you lose the first fight. You got to make it make sense. Andre.
Okay, no, the Kovalev thing, let's not do that, because when Canelo faced Kovalev was already washed. Kovalev was already done. But nonetheless, this is not a Canelo hate video. I just really want to understand you guys, the Canelo stands, because I like Canelo, right? But at the end of this whole video, my whole point, and this is going to put a pin to it, a pin to everybody's going to be in the comments, it's going to put a real pin to it, right? Canelo denied the fight with David Benavidez. At the end of it, you guys can say whatever you guys want. I'm not a Canelo hater. I actually think that fight is, I would say 60-40 or 50. Honestly, 50-50. Excuse me. I won't even say 60-40. A 50-50. Canelo versus Benavidez is, to me, a 50-50. But he rejected it, according to David Benavidez. So do I still think he's going to face him? Yes. But come on. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's look at what's going on. Canelo did not want the fight. So he's clearly looking elsewhere. He also previously stated that David Benavidez has to face better opposition in order to face him. And that's exactly what David Benavidez did. He faced Andre. He faced Caleb Plant and beat them in devastating fashion. What else do you want? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I know you will. And yeah, man. Canelo versus David Benavidez. Hopefully we'll see that soon. I'm pretty sure we will. But I'm out. Peace.